Good morning. First of all, I want to say we are so happy to have you here with us today. I'm going to do a brief overview of the state of the apostolate, and then very quickly from there we'll hear from Anne. The apostolate of the returning king is a new movement in the Catholic Church. It arose in 2003 when Catherine Ann Clark began receiving messages from God by means of interior locutions. To remain anonymous, she began writing under the name of Anne, a lay apostle, and under instruction from Jesus, submitted the messages to her local bishop, Bishop Leo O'Reilly, of the Diocese of Kilmore, Ireland, who gave her permission to share them with others. Bishop O'Reilly deemed the communications of such significance that he convened two formal diocesan commissions to evaluate both the writings and Catherine's extraordinary experiences. In 2013, at the conclusion of the commission's extensive work, a formal imprimatur was granted. In 2018, by ecclesial decree, the apostolate received canonical recognition as an association of the faithful with juridical personality. The apostolate of the returning king, thus born into our faith tradition, seeks to prepare and form lay people to accept the call to service and reform in a healthy, holy, and balanced manner as co-responsible Catholics. Jesus identifies himself as the returning king because he wants to return in this time now, in each day, through every one of us. In the words and writings of Catherine, we find fresh grace and hope. As apostles of the returning king, we are followers of Jesus Christ, committed to treating others with the Lord's patience and kindness. We are intended to impact Catholic thinking and thought. We are intended to bring the love of Jesus Christ directly to those around us, representing Christ with spiritual accuracy in order to draw people toward the safety of the Eucharistic Christ. Our beautiful, light-filled governing principles ensure that anyone in any circumstances can join our movement if they desire to bring God's love to others. All over the world, Christ is igniting our small efforts with great, powerful graces. We do not separate ourselves, elevate ourselves, or participate in any form of religious elitism. Rather, we seek God's hope in each day. We aim, like Christ, to serve those who feel broken, as we have been broken, those who need hope, as we need hope, and those who crave love, as we crave love. Our commitment to the apostolate of the returning king offers Jesus the opportunity to use us to spread his love more directly, and it brings our Christianity to the forefront of our minds and hearts. This association brings us back to the essence of what it means to represent Christ as Christians in the world. The movement now has over 2,600 formally pledged apostles of the returning king, with over 240 registered prayer groups worldwide. More than 15,000 people are actively involved in the apostolate, spanning nearly 50 countries, and certainly many more quietly encounter the messages that continue to this day and have their lives changed. Next, I'm going to introduce Pam Robertson. Pam travels with Anne all over the United States and brings both the fun and the organization. She works tirelessly to pull this all off. Pam?
this good? Okay, well, I am here to welcome you. I'm Pam Robertson, and I work with the DFO team in the United States. And I don't want to brag, but I actually graduated from St. Catherine's. Thank you. Yep. So how many of you are from St. Catherine's? Okay, got a little work for you guys. And how many of you are lay apostles? Signed up, getting the emails. And so how many of you are not yet lay apostles? And so how many of you will be lay apostles? Thank you. So it is easy. I remember when a friend of mine told me one day, we're going to be lay apostles. And I was like, what's the test? What do I have to do, right? So there are 5 spiritual practices that we have. One is we say the allegiance prayer and the vocational prayer every day. And I thought we would start with a prayer, and you have that little card. Except I don't. But I think I know it. Right? And actually, it's in like all of the books, which I'll get to in a minute. So, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. The allegiance prayer. Dear God in heaven, I pledge my allegiance to you. I give you my life, my work, and my heart. In turn, give me the grace. And the vocation prayer, O Mary, Mother of Jesus and Queen of the Church. Okay, you can check the first box. Number 2 is that we attend Eucharistic adoration once a week for 1 hour. You have a beautiful adoration chapel here at St. Catherine's. How many people have adoration chapels at their churches? So that's easy enough. Okay, so 2 is going to be checked. Number 3 is that we are asked to be part of a prayer group. Now, this is where you guys from St. Catherine's come in. Because we have prayer groups, as Nora said, all over the world, but we need one here at St. Catherine's. So of those who raised their hand for St. Catherine's, who would like to start that here? Laughing. Okay, so the other option is for the prayer groups. We learned in COVID, thank God we learned something from COVID, that you can do your prayer groups online. So if you go on our website, at the top, there's a drop-down box when you hit Lay Apostles, and it will list, I think there's about 8 right now that are online around the world. So you can go to an Ireland one, you could go to an Australian one, or you can go to one in the United States, different days, different times. So you should be able to find one that would work for you. Secret here for you guys in St. Catherine's that have all the pressure now about the prayer group. When my friend and I started ours, we went to several different ones to see what they were doing, and then when we were comfortable, we started it at our parish. So that's a good idea for you. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4 is monthly confession. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand if you're going to monthly confession, because I know that took me about a year to figure that one out. But Lynn has told me that St. Linus has a really fast priest. I'm not saying anything about St. Catherine's priest, but I am saying that about St. Linus. And the very last thing, which I think Nora mentioned, is that we're supposed to follow the example of Jesus Christ and treat everyone with his patience and kindness. Remember, you guys, this is a journey. You know, we don't expect to be perfect the first time. The funny thing is, we have an awesome prison ministry, and we have a lot of lay apostle groups in different prisons around the world. So they don't have access to monthly confession, and I don't even think they have access to adoration. So they're still lay apostles in good standing. So don't worry if it takes time to get there, because we're all getting there, and we'll always all be getting there, right? Okay, St. Catherine's, we're counting on you. All right, so the other thing that my friend convinced me of when she told me we were becoming lay apostles was she said, "You know why we're doing this, right?" And I'm like, "Well, you know, we're saying the rosary and we're getting together with other people. It's good fellowship." And she's like, "Oh, no, no, no. We're doing it for the promise." Okay. So also in all the books, the promise to apostles of the returning King, May 12, 2005, Jesus. Your message to people remains constant. Welcome each person to the rescue mission. We're welcoming you. You may assure each apostle that just as they concern themselves with my interests, I will concern mine with theirs. They will be placed in my sacred heart, and I will defend and protect them. I will also pursue complete conversion of each of their loved ones. Do you want me to repeat that? Because this is the part she was joining for. They will be placed in my sacred heart, and I will defend and protect them. I will also pursue complete conversion of each of their loved ones. It's a win-win. You see, the people who serve in this rescue mission as my beloved apostles will know peace. The world cannot make this promise, as only heaven can bestow peace on a soul. This is truly heaven's mission, and I call every one of heaven's children to assist me. You will be well rewarded, my dear ones. So now you know why we joined. So if you would like to join, you can go online and you can join that way, or we have sign-up sheets in the back. All of the written works are back there. They all have the imprimatur, which means that Anne's bishop has approved their printing and distribution. For those of you that are new, Climbing the Mountain has a great history of the mission. So that's kind of a good place to start. And then you'll need all 10 volumes because it's sort of like, a mystery. You've got to just keep going and read them all. You'll want them at your bedside. So anyway, that's it for me. Anybody have any questions? Anne will do a talk. She will take questions and answers at the end. And then afterward, she will pray over anyone that wants to be prayed over. So we'll kind of move you around a little just so we can get in between the rows. We'll have to do like an every other row thing, but we don't need to do that now. Okay? Welcome. I welcome you, and now we will welcome Anne. Ooh. Oh, there's water there.
Thank you, Nora, and thank you, Pam. Good to be with you. I'm glad we got to carve this time out of this trip. And I always love coming back to Chicago. The most interesting thing about the Lord coming to us in this way, through this phenomena, is not that he's talking to me, but what he's saying and what he said. In the beginning, he said, a great renewal is taking place. And I would ask you this question. How many feel that our Catholic Church is crying out for reform? We agree with our priests and bishops and we lay people. Our church is crying out for reform. What can't happen first is reform. Renewal must come first. Now, when we say renewal in other faiths, it brings up an image of tents, tent, Holy Spirit-filled festivals of different religions. But in our context, in this context, when Christ said a great renewal is taking place, he's talking first and foremost about our hearts. The great renewal has to happen in my heart and in your heart. So while there's a lot of talk about the church as though it were buildings and Rome and confined to leadership, there's less talk about where, how, and why you and I need to renew our hearts. People have a lot of good ideas about what the church needs. Is anyone here involved in the synodal process? The synod of the church? Okay, in Ireland we've been very, very much involved in it, and you lay apostles among us have received a document that I submitted. So, concerningly, many of the contributions read like identity politics. We want women's embrace. We want this. We want that. Nobody inserted a plan for renewing their faith in our hearts. And I think did that cause heaven grief? I wondered at the time, how's heaven looking at these submissions? Nobody's talking about the poor, the church as servant, followers of Jesus Christ. They're talking about what they want. My friends, the church can only ever be a servant to your spirituality. It's between you and God. If your heart is open to renewal, you will be renewed. How much can heaven console us? How much can heaven direct us? That depends. How much do we trust heaven? And so we're asking that question today. How much do I trust heaven? Do I buy this thing? Do I believe in it? Jesus Christ is present in our tabernacles. He is here. Arguably, the first apostles did not have what we have. He set out, he has showed up, and he has stayed for you and for me here in St. Catherine's and in every other tabernacle around the world. Jesus keeps his promises. Can we keep ours? Can we agree to continue this process of transforming every single day? Can we transcend our political realities and the great shifts that are happening and trust that the story for you and I is all good news? We're not worried because we're going to be here for a short time, and then Christ will come for us. The rest is details. How much can we love other people? How much can the love of Christ come through me on any given day for the people in front of me? That's your question. It starts at your kitchen table. And if you're alone and you're by yourself, it still starts at your kitchen table. How much do you love you? That's your first order of business, isn't it? How are you treating yourself in your mind? The story of renewal, reform in our church is dependent on three key relationships. Your relationship with yourself, your relationship with others, your relationship with God. Those three relationships. Your relationship with yourself, your relationship with others, are inside your relationship with God. He's got them. He'll help you. In other words, he wants to direct those. He wants you to come to him for help when you don't like yourself. Or when you, God Almighty, hate yourself. Have you ever had moments? We all have. Our fallen nature ensures we will be confounded regularly by our humanity. Our fallen nature ensures that we will look back on our past and say, yeah, I didn't really tag that base. Yeah, I could have been better there. If I had that to do over again. Anyone ever have those thoughts? Yes? Okay. See, we're all the same. And in those thoughts comes Jesus Christ, the presence of mercy. Jesus would say, I'm the Alpha and the Omega. I'm both the beginning and the end. And everything in between. He's with you. He'll show you why you made the mistakes you made. He'll show you the wonderful things that came out of your life. We don't see with full vision yet. But if we're praying contemplatively, we begin to see with greater vision. Now, my friends, that's my introduction. I love you. A great renewal is taking place. And what we're going to do today, I don't know, we'll find out. But generally, what I want to do is give you a sense of why our Catholicism needs committed Catholics. We cannot show up halfway anymore because it's not working. We have lost too many people. We have lost them for good reasons. We are not who we should be. When people encounter us in this apostolate, we always say, they're on the front porch of the Catholic Church. Do they want to come inside after talking to us? We worry about children who aren't practicing. We're going to have to let it go. We're going to have to let that one go and trust. And when we see our children, don't see people who aren't practicing their faith, see a reason why we need to do better at renewing our hearts. Because Christ didn't go around in his life and evaluate how well people were practicing their religion. And we don't have any authority to do so either. And it's not a good look. We're not representing Christ when we do that. If you're talking to people about the rules of the church, and that's a legalistic approach, you want to say, let me think, am I a canon lawyer? Is it my job to inform people of where they're getting it wrong? In this apostolate, we would say, no, we don't feel that way. We love people. Our job is to just try to resonate in Christ, so when they're near us, they can feel a little bit of that resonance, a little bit of the resonance of Christ's love. I mean, let's ask Jesus to send it to us right now. Close your eyes. Can you feel it? Can you feel the grace? We are proximate to the greatest mystery in the world, right here. The Eucharist, Jesus Christ's presence on earth is central to our Catholic Church. You could make a case that the Catholic Church is built around that, right there. Our whole church, all the drama, all the talking, all the fighting, all the opinions, all the different models and the groups and the masses and the mistakes of the lay people, the mistakes of the priest, the mistakes of the Pope, the mistakes of everybody. It's kind of irrelevant when you realize that's a human structure of people doing their best to guard, protect, and make him available for all time, till we're finished here on earth, on the planet. Does that make sense to you? Can you see our Catholic faith a little bit differently in light of that? You and I are assembled as Catholics partially to protect the presence of the Eucharist. So now I've said renewal in our hearts. We are here as protectors and defenders of Jesus Christ, truly present in the Eucharist. Those are two important things. I want you to know that when we were working on the statutes for our canonical status, you can think of this as a third order, what they used to call a third order. That's who we are. That's what we do. It's how we assemble as Catholics within Catholicism. It was very important to me to put in the statutes, in writing, that we follow these practices as best we can. There is no perfect apostle of the returning King. There is no perfect Catholic. We are like a group of children trying to be good. We're trying to be good, and we're wounded. And when you're wounded, it's hard to be good, isn't it? When you're tired, it's hard to be good. When you're afraid, it's hard to be good. All of those human pieces come in, and in the midst of all that, we're trying to show people that God loves them. It could only be imperfect. We're never going to get the full picture with a human being. Not with a priest, not with a bishop, not with a pope, and not with a lay person. Do we accept that, yes or no? Okay, now we're ready to start. Now we can dig in and understand that we have to reduce the drama. Everybody's fainting about someone's mistakes or sins. Did you hear this? Oh my God, they're faint. I'm like, we're just people. We don't like when people make mistakes that hurt other people. We don't like when they do it secretly, and we don't like when it's covered up. We'll stipulate to that. Every priest friend I know agrees with us. So we don't march into battle against our friends. We march into battle with our friends, the clergy. Okay. I'm just going to tell you what I think is important on this day, okay? So we'll do that in whatever order it comes. Okay, so if we see our church as protector and defender of the Eucharist, I would ask you this question. What is your role in relationship to the Eucharist to protect and defend? Now, what is the Eucharist? Okay, so it's the Alpha and it's the Omega. I asked my sons one day, what's the mathematical intersect point? And they gave me various answers and things, and they said, origin. Then there was another weird four-letter word that I can't recall. And then intersect, okay. The Eucharist is the origin. It is the intersect. It's the place where heaven and earth are together without separation. We, Irish, have a Gaelic phrase called Ancuil Och. Ancuil Och means the thin veil, or the thin place. It is historically referencing the deathbed of someone who's dying and the place around them. And the thin place, or the thin veil, refers to the fact that often people there have experiences of others in the room, of movement, preparations. You feel it. How many here have ever been with someone dying and felt something big was happening? Okay, and it, like so much of the mystical, often you can't articulate it, yes? Right. You've all had mystical experiences. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. But often we don't do a great job of articulation or celebration of those mystical things. Okay, so the thin place. So the thin place on earth for you and I can be a couple things. The ultimate, the thin place, I would submit to you, is the Eucharist. Christ is here, heaven's here, and we're here too, in the presence. The deathbed of someone is another place. Another thin place would be the sacraments. A sacrament is a visible sign of an invisible grace. Something is happening. We can't get words on it, but we can see the elements of the sacrament. And it's changing you and me in ways we can feel and sense, but can't always articulate. I think we titled this talk today, Prayer in Changing Times or something, yep? Okay, that was a good title. The reason is because in order for Christ to renew my heart, I have to put myself in these thin places. I have to put myself close to Him. Now, if you've been following us, you're probably praying contemplatively. We are leading with contemplative prayer because you can create a thin place wherever you are. Wherever you are, you can put yourself in a thin place where heaven is right with you, where Christ can instruct you. So I'll tell you a story. So there was one person practicing contemplative prayer every day, and as she went on, all these wonderful things happen. You're calmer, you love yourself more, you understand yourself more, you understand others. Your fear goes down, your anxiety goes down, your peace goes up, and your discernment just gets better. People, we need better discernment in these times. So she was praying in the morning, and it's, every other morning thing. It's very ordinary. When Christ intersects with us, it's very ordinary. So as she was praying, she was in the work of the day room, and she was thinking, oh, I don't want to go to work. I just don't feel like it. I'm tired of this job. I don't want to go to work today, but I have to. And she felt an inspiration, a deep feeling that Christ said, you're not going to be in this job for long. You're going to be moved, and you'll be sad. And there's that moment where the body knows they're being communicated with in the soul. If you've had an experience like any, I'm sure, pay attention to your experiences, because there's a moment where you're like, wait, I have to listen very hard, because I think heaven is trying to say something to me. You become very alert. So That's how she felt. She felt it was strong. And she said it was so strong that I thought, yeah, I kind of would be sad to leave this job. And these people. She didn't work with us. Just to be clear. Nobody complains about coming to work with us. Plagues and locusts surround us, but it doesn't faze us. So she went to work that day, and her boss said, hey, I got a phone call. You're being transferred. You're leaving. We're so sad. Next week, this is your last week. And she thought, I am sad. But what she also felt was deep peace, because she said, if the Lord warned me about this, then surely he's in it. And it is he himself who's relocating me. Okay, so that's a thin place. The reason she was available to it was because of contemplative prayer that morning, ordinary prayer, commitment, discipline to a morning prayer. That's what she got. Now that consoled her. It still consoles her 9 months later, 10 months later. Because she said, it just brought home to me, Jesus Christ is waiting for me in contemplative prayer every day. I'm not alone. Okay, let me give you another example of one of those intersect points. So there's a woman, and or a young woman, and her brother died tragically. We're not going to get out of life without tragedy. Every timeline has some lightning strikes on it, where you're hurt and you're affected and you go forward differently. You feel changed. You don't feel you're changed for the better, maybe, but what you're actually being encouraged to do is go deeper. Go deeper. Rely on God more. Find him if you don't have him. Okay, so her brother dies tragically, and she loved him. They were so close, and she missed him terribly. And she worried sick about him because she was his older sister. And she said, it's just what I did. I always worried about him. So when he died tragically, it's not like I stopped. I thought, where did he go? Where is he now? Is he scared? Is he alone? So she was walking down the stairs one day to her basement, and she felt he was there. And she said, I was on the third stair, and I just knew he was there. And she said he had this way of always kind of laughing at me or with me, or, it was fun. And she said, and that was there. So I smiled. And she said, I said out loud, I just want to know you're okay. And he said, I'm okay. I'm fine. And whatever way it happened, she said there were no real words. Those were impressions. But I got very happy in my heart. I got joyful. I knew he was with me. I knew for certain that was him, and he was telling me he was okay. She said, I never worried about him since. I know he's fine. And he's the same. And she said, and that gives me joy because he didn't go anywhere. He's the same person, only happier. Potentially, she said, happy for the first time. So now she put herself somewhere. Let me give you examples of how you know it's a real mystical experience. Everybody who has it locates themselves. I was standing right here. I was on the third stair. They locate themselves in time and space as if to anchor it in. I was here, and yet this thing happened. They're clear about the message or the communication. They're not confused at all. They know exactly what happened. And they go forward and say, edified, better. Why do we have those experiences? Why does heaven allow them? Number one, to console us. Number two, to instruct us. Number three, to reduce our fear. Number four, to show you that you're not alone. You're never alone. He wants us to know that he's listening to every prayer. Remember what I said? How much can he console us? It depends on how much we trust him. Faustina did a good thing for us. I remember someone telling me a story about they were really worried about their son. He was struggling, and this person was trying to get her son the mom and dad were trying to get their son into treatment. We've got a lot of problems here with fentanyl, huh? Oh my God, it's so bad. And so they were having to go to meetings and do all this stuff. So at one point she said, I kept trusting Our Lady. I kept saying, this is way beyond me. I cannot handle this. You're going to have to help me. She said, finally, the one day I took the statue of Our Lady and put it in my purse. She said, there was no point just going there. I just brought her with me. She said, and that gave her confidence. She was like, Mother, this has got to be your gig. It is too big for me. And it went beautifully. The more she trusted, the more she was consoled. Okay. So how do you participate in the protection and defense of the Eucharist? So now how do we do it? Number one, we assist at Mass. What does assisting at Mass mean? We show up. We go to Mass. Nothing has changed with regard to our Mass obligation because of COVID. Now, there are a lot of us who wonder, let me put it this way. In the parishes where the priest offered strong leadership, it was good. Yes? Okay. That didn't happen everywhere. Correct? All right. Guys, we have to be strong leaders. We are called to spiritual leadership. You and I are called to spiritual leadership. We can't expect it to come from somewhere it's not coming from. And the more we stamp our foot, the less able we become to provide the spiritual leadership that people are going to need. Today's apostle of the returning king is tomorrow's spiritual leader, because all we do is prepare. Everything we're doing, every prayer, every holy hour, every Mass, every rosary, every booklet we hand out is preparation for us for spiritual leadership in the future. And let me tell you, I see it in the young people. Even in the ones who are very casual, too cool to be Catholic. Because when someone pushes on their faith, boom, it pops out. They're like, now hold on a minute, that's not what we believe. I think, oh my goodness. A Catholic is hiding underneath that surly exterior. What have we here? You know, don't write off our young people. Do be a good example to them. If you are a spiritual leader, what are the characteristics you must have? Number one, better self-awareness tomorrow than you have today. You got to be aware of your stuff. Where are you a dose? My children use that term. It's an Irish word meaning not so pleasant. Where are you? Where can I be immature, judgmental, unkind, cutting, unfair, impatient, black and white, and Pharisee? In all the teachings, we have a lesson, a teaching we do about going after your inner Pharisee. We all have an inner Pharisee. It's part of that place in my heart where I'm supposed to be transforming in Christ and renewing, opening my heart for renewal. I also have an inner Pharisee who thinks if everyone would just be a Catholic like me, we would have something. How many of us are guilty of that? Come on. You know, when you say to people, well, you should be saying the rosary. Well, you don't like the rosary, so I guess you'll just have to be anxious. You know, that's your inner Pharisee. That is your inner Pharisee who thinks that if everyone just thought like me and viewed our faith like me, we would have a faith. It's not true. If we have 1,000 Catholics, we have 1,000 different expressions of Catholicism. If not, if we all look the same, my friends, what are we? A cult. We are not called to provide either another cult for the planet or cult-like thinking. You know, one religion has something they call shunning. And if people don't play ball the right way, they shun them. And that means they exclude them, ignore them, consider them dead. Right? Okay, another religion has a practice called assigning the status of subversive persons. And that means that their independent thinking is a risk to our structure. Now, do we believe that is good? No, it's a cult-like behavior. The goal is, though, for them that everyone looks the same. And the perception is that if somebody looks differently, we are at risk. 1,000 Catholics should be intersecting with Christ in 1,000 different ways. Otherwise, how can we renew the face of the world for God? Because somebody who likes me doesn't like the person who's doing it differently. Somebody who likes Opus Dei doesn't like Dominican spirituality. Somebody who likes the Franciscans can't stand the Carmelites. Do you see what I'm saying? We all have to be ourselves. And if I was going to say the third instruction, it would be, who are you when you pray? Are you someone from the 4th century? Or are you today? You have to be yourself. The best gift you can give to Jesus Christ is to be completely yourself with Him. Here I am, Lord. Okay. You know, you might say in the morning on a tough day, this is going to be a tough day. Lord, I'm not going to pretend I don't feel equal to it. But I know that with you all things are possible. Imagine how much Jesus Christ appreciates that type of honesty. Have you ever seen somebody that goes to daily Eucharistic adoration and comes out and they seem to be floating on a cloud and they judge everybody else? Have you ever seen that? It's called the Pharisee, the inner Pharisee. I wonder how prayer is for them. If I were working with them, when I am, I say, what happens when you pray? How is prayer for you? And when I hear things like, oh, I'm caught up in the rapturous light of God, and I'm suspended, and, 3 hours go by and I don't notice anything, I'm like, do you have to get groceries today? Because you are dissociative, and your people are going to need your present. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. Arguably, the reports of the mystics in the past are misused when we focus on what God did in their lives. God comes through ordinary people and does something supernatural. He hopes you'll be part of that. Look at you and your relationship to Christ. And out of that will come something supernatural. You're just going to bring the human being through whom he goes through. Does that make sense? It doesn't upset you, does it? You just have to be yourself. And practice being yourself. It's the greatest gift you can give to God, is being yourself. He doesn't need another Catherine of Alexandria. Through her beautiful sacrifices, we're here, using her name to get to know Jesus. When you're in prayer, I want you to do this the next time you're praying. I want you to practice being yourself with Christ. For some people, it's not as easy as it sounds. But it will change your relationship with the Lord. Yeah. So what happens in adoration then? Christ is resonating out. He's resonating out. If you're standing in front of a person, you feel them there, yes? Like say your eyes are closed. Say I'm standing in front of Pam. I close my eyes. Pam's still there, right? I can't see her, but I feel her there in some way, yes? Okay, so if you're in the Eucharist, in front of the Eucharist, that's happening. He's resonating out. There's something in quantum physics called the observer effect. And it means when you observe something, change happens. When we sit in front of Christ, in the way I see it, he observes us into a different resonance. How many here have gone to adoration one way? All over the place. Your hair's flying around. You've got, maybe 10 books. You're going to read them all during this one holy hour. You've got a rosary. You've got this. You've got that. You go into adoration. You put them down. And then you go. And then you sit there. And then the next thing that happens is you go, I am so tired. Because you've landed. That's a good sign. That's a good sign that you've come into your experience as a person, as a little person, trying to be good. And then maybe your thoughts are kind of all over. You get a few Hail Marys off, and then you put the rosary down, or you hold it, but you're just thinking. Am I describing many of our holy hours? Okay, that's good. It's not an achievement-oriented activity. You just have to go be yourself and let Christ observe you into a heavenly resonance. Okay, are you guys with me? All right, because I feel like I'm throwing it out piecemeal, but I'm looking at faces and I did pray for an hour this morning. Lord, what do you want for these people today? These are your people. We all love them. We all love each other. What do you want for us today? And I did get a strong sense of, to hammer home our church as protector and defender of the Eucharist, one thing. And the other thing I got was, he said, I want them to know that I'm calling them closer. I'm calling them closer. So he's calling out to you and saying, come closer. Come in really close now. So that you're not afraid or anxious, or so that you're not hard on yourself. So that you're peaceful. My friends, we live in the most wonderful country, I feel, in the whole world here. How many here worry about our country? Okay, don't do it anymore. The United States of America is here. It's in our hearts. We're going to carry it. It's going to be okay. And whatever happens, Nobody can take it out of our heart. Our beliefs, it's the only place in the world where you have all these different nationalities and races, and we're all fighting over how to get along. That's better than Mississippi dropping bombs on Arkansas. It's okay. We're going to be okay, one way or another, and no matter what happens, we'll carry God will preserve it. I think we're important to God's plan. You have no idea how the United States is viewed internationally until you have to live internationally. And it's like the church. Everybody loves to complain about the church. I hear it. I'm part of it. I could compete. If that was a competitive sport, I could compete there. I could complain about the church too. What's the point? We're just people. And people look at the United States as in like, well, if it's happening in the United States, we have no hope. But let me tell you what's hopeful. It's happening globally. The things occurring here are happening all over the world. It's just different expressions in different countries. So how much can you be consoled? It depends on how much you trust God. Set an example. When we're training mothers of the church, we say, okay, whatever you're doing in your home, do it out loud. Whatever you're doing in your church, like in the sense of like if you're preparing for this event, do it out loud. I'm preparing these flyers because I want people to come to feel they have the information that they need and that they're going home. Do it out loud. So when you trust out loud. So you're having, bad things happen, whatever, it's stressful, something. You got family members around you say, yeah, well, we could be worried about this, or we could trust that God will take good care of us like he always has, and that we'll all be ultimately fine. Now, when you hear someone say that, do you feel better? Of course. So give that gift of trust to the people around you. Okay, so the Eucharist in our faith tradition and in practice all over the world is viewed as food. Food, sustenance, heavenly, it's wine and bread. It's food, heavenly food. I say to you, in this time now of renewal and reform, we have to shift our thinking and add another little piece on that, understanding the Eucharist as presence. Those of us who go to adoration chapels or sit in churches in front of the tabernacle already understand that, yes? Yeah, we just want to be close. We just want to be close to Christ. But in the submission to the synod, one of the things hammered by me was we should be inviting people not into a flawed edifice. We should be inviting people into perfection and love. We invite you to come and sit for 10 minutes in front of the Eucharist and then bring all of your worries to Christ there. He loves you perfectly. He understands you better than anyone, even you. And he wants to help you. So in our diocese, with the First Mothers of the Church group, what we did was, for the whole diocese, we did a Eucharistic holy hour. And we had Christ present. We did a little bit of soft music. We actually did harp music. We did a lot of quiet, a little human faith formation, a few words, and then the priest stood there and gave a personal blessing to anyone who wanted it with the monstrance. So they're coming up to receive, and yet nobody's asking them their marital status or whether or not they're in a state of mortal sin, or, you know what I'm saying? It's simplified. And it's Jesus in the Eucharist as presence. It was very moving. Very profound, lots of tears, lots of graces. So think that way. If people are going to need God, and we have to offer Him. And if we do that, it's a simple Eucharistic hour. Come and be blessed by Christ. Come for 5 minutes or for an hour. You know, we do good at that in the United States. In other countries, it's radical. It's radical. There are Eucharistic miracles, my friends. You know, as Christians, we thrive on mystery. Part of the problem right now, why you have so many people fighting all the time about absolutely everything, I mean, everything is combat. Yes? It's crazy. It's like collective mental disturbance. We had an event in Florida, and in the beginning of the event, I made the mistake of saying the V word for vaccination. And what I said is, look, maybe half of us here have had them, maybe half of us haven't. We're here because of God. And with that, it was a dog pile. So you could have said, I enjoyed doing nothing for a short time so that we could all feel that resonance, yes? Oh, there was a soldier sitting in front, and she said, I was prepared to haul you out of here. I did not articulate a side. I didn't, you know? And so then we got over it. I said, okay, people feel strongly. Now let's move on. And then at the end of it, we prayed, which we're going to do here. And after the prayer, we were all super quiet and calm, right? It was like a whole different thing. And I said, now, which state of being do you choose? In the first state of being, combat, everybody was revved up. People were doing this. You know, I'm sure I've done that in my life. It probably had to do with kids. But people were angry, fearful, opinionated. People were certain. They were so sure of themselves that they were right. Now, I say that because nobody had any more facts than I did. And I was very uncertain about all of it. So then at the end, everybody was happy and kind and peaceful and hopeful. We had been touched by grace. We were stronger in a quieter way. Which state of being do you choose? If you're revved up, Christ isn't coming through you. If I'm revved up and I'm raising my voice and I'm certain, the people on the other side of me are probably enduring me. They're surviving me. They're, waiting till it ends. Does this make sense? Yeah. Who do we follow? Him. We follow Jesus Christ. He was sweet. He was kind. He was meek. He asked people questions. He didn't tell them things. He asked questions. Do you want to be healed? He didn't say, are you sick? He said, do you want to be healed? My friends, do you want to be peaceful? Yes or no? Hear yourself say it. Yes, I want to be peaceful, Lord. I want to trust you. I want to be full of love. I want the people around me to know how valuable they are. I want them to know that this is just an exercise. We're all going to be in heaven. It's going to be okay. Now the legalist says, wait a minute, not everybody's going to heaven. I'd like to formally state an objection. Okay, I get your mind works differently than mine. It's okay, we can still be friends. What I will tell you is this. You're going to get a choice. And so will everybody else. At the moment of death, Jesus will say, do you want to be healed? Do you want to be with us? We are a family of God. We are one family. Humanity is one family. It's not a family of Catholics. It's a human family created by God. Catholics have been assembled to protect Christ's presence on earth. We have gone so legal that people don't think they're worthy enough to be around us. What are we doing when we tell people you're excluded from the Eucharist? Let me ask you, do we resemble a cult when we say, based on human tribunal, this sacred thing is never going to be available to you again? We need reform. Did I say anything against our church teaching, yes or no? No. I'm saying we aren't fully developed yet. Christ would be the first one to acknowledge that. And what happens when you go so far into the law that people get confused about themselves as good things? You're a good thing. God made you. You're a good person, created to do good things. And you will make mistakes. You will get it wrong. And what happens when you do that? Nothing. You try harder. You figure it out. You sit in your confounded self. Bring it to Christ and say, I'm not sure. I did a bad thing there. And then he forgives you. And then you get on with it. My friends, I don't know if I should wrap up or not, but I do want to say this. Jesus Christ died to free us from shame. If that's true, why does everyone feel so badly about themselves? Christianity, we should be the most vibrant, excited, happy, creative people on this planet. Because Christ died so we wouldn't feel bad about ourselves. He died to end all shame. He died to dead end it. He was like, nope. You are not doing this to my people. The devil wants us to think we are bad people. Christ said, nope, we're not doing that. God's children live in a perpetual state of potential for transcendence. How could they think that because they've done a bad thing, that makes them a bad person? That's not the Christian message, my friends. And nobody's knocking on doors to apologize to people for where we got that wrong. And that's why they're not practicing in many cases. My husband likes to say, oh yeah, well, they just don't want to go to Mass. They're just lazy. And, he said they're using it as an excuse. They're using clergy. My husband feels this way about it. I feel this other way. The truth includes both, which is how you handle marriage, yes? Truth is objective, and yet there are different slices of it. Christ died to end shame. He doesn't want you to think you're a bad person. He doesn't want anyone else to think they're a bad person. People focus on Christ died because we were so bad, because we were so sinful. He died on the cross because we were so bad and we stink. I mean, that's the way it's portrayed. Am I right? It's not true. Break it down. Sit in prayer and you won't. That's not what I get from him. What Christ could not bear was the extent of our vulnerability. It broke his heart that we were so vulnerable and so innocent, and we would be so messed with at that time by Pharisees. He couldn't bear it. It broke his heart. So he took all of the guilt upon himself. No, sorry. All of the shame upon himself. And he died the death of the most shamed person on the planet. And then he rose again. He came back. He came back and he said, see, even you people who kill me, I still love you too. I still love you. I still hope for every single one of you. You're good people. You're created to do good things, and you will make mistakes, and I will forgive you. But you have to forgive yourself too. You have to love yourself. Just say it 1,000 times tomorrow. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. And when you keep doing that, just like, Jesus, I trust in you. Jesus, I trust in you. Faustina had it down. I love myself. I love myself. Do you get conceited and narcissistic? Do you say, I'm going to spend money I don't have because I love myself? No, it's not the opposite. You're going to say, I love myself too much to go into debt for those shoes, as nice as they are. I love myself too much to, do something that's harmful to my little body. I love myself too much to have a poor relationship with my spouse. We forget our Christianity and our families. We will have to account for our treatment of our spouses and our children. It's not personal, my friends, in marriage. You know, once I figured that out, I was a much better wife. This isn't personal. He's running a program that I wasn't there when it was created. And he's following prompts. This means this means this. And I'm thinking, well, when I grew up, this meant this. Cultural issues are a problem, we know. Because the programming is differently. You have to really be thoughtful. So when you pray contemplatively, one of the rooms is relationships. And what you do in the morning is you check your important relationships with Christ, and you're like, who needs what from me today? And it's not like, oh, I'm going to go around exhausting myself in the service and so that I can collapse dramatically. No, that's not it. You say, what is my duty today? And God will show you. Who needs a little bit of, so let's do it now. Let me ask you this. You think about this with Christ, and we'll say, Holy Spirit, come. Who needs you to be a little more gentle in your speaking? Who could use you to be a little kinder in your tone? Who needs you to hold up a mirror to them and reflect them back with hope and love and admiration? Who needs you to say, yeah, I've known you for 40 years. I just want to tell you, I'm really impressed by you. I love the way you do X. We're not here forever. You don't have forever to do this. The most important things are the relationships, the people in your life. If you're disappointed because your kids aren't practicing, try not to say it. Try to look at them and say, I love what a great dad you are. I love what a great mom you are. I love how hard you try to do this. Find something. Find something to say that's good about them and say it to them every time you see them. Think of something else. Great job on this. Good job here. Hey, well done. That looks good. Because how many here would say, there are good things about the people around me, but I've never told them. I just don't bring it up. What do you bring up? The way they throw the garbage out wrong? You know, apostles of the returning King are thoughtful men and women of God. We don't just fling ourselves at the world and hope for the best. We think it out. This is good. God has good things for us. Now, if you don't mind, I'll look through my notes and see if there's anything I really want to say, and then I'm going to pray. We're going to pray, and we're within our time. So what this is new for us. What I'm going to do, what you and I are going to do together, for anyone who wants it, is I'll just put my hands on your shoulders behind you and just say a little prayer for the Holy Spirit, for Christ, for whatever it is you need. And then, we're asking for grace. And while that's happening, if you don't want that, you'll just leave or just go sit in the back, and Pam will tell you, go sit here and no one will bother you. No one's going to come near you with their hands. Nothing happens. This is not like Pentecostal, although they do have something. I don't know what it is, but it's powerful. And the rest of us, I call this the soaking prayer. This is the soaking prayer. We're going to soak in the graces. We're going to be like we're in heaven, only we're still going to be here. And what does that mean? We're going to be resting. We're going to park our problems with Christ. We're going to let heaven come and handle all our stuff and just rest. Okay, let me just take a look. So pray. Say a little prayer. Okay. I saw a man suffering once, and there was nothing I could do. And I was so moved that for an hour the next day I sat there and just stared because it was so big. And what I realized was there's not a thing I can do about the suffering of most people on this planet. There is nothing I can do. My conclusion was, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. And that, the rest of it's God's work, Why do I say that? Because I said it to my husband at the time. I said, there's nothing we could do. And he said, oh, we were there. We stopped. And we were there. And we could do that. And we did that. And then he said, but, I said, there's nothing we can do. I got this to him like a news flash that morning. I said, Jim, there's nothing we can do about the suffering of most people on the planet. And he said, that's all the more reason why we do something when we can. And then I was consoled because it was manageable. But I thought to myself, that must be how Jesus felt. He looked at all these people being distorted by Pharisees, being marginalized, being lepers, and I think he thought, Father, what can I do? It's too many of them. It's too much. And he did it. He died so that we could know we were loved and so that our vulnerability would be addressed and our innocence restored to us. Okay. Oh, sure. Yeah, that would be good. Any questions? This is a good time while I can do two things at once. You mean flames? Okay, this is fun. In the sense that it's so funny what our minds work so differently. He's saying, in my description in the Mist of Mercy on Purgatory, it differs from St. Faustina's because she saw flames. And someone said that to me once, and I said, oh, I know exactly what she was talking about. She was talking about burning remorse. And it's why you do this work here. Have you ever done something that was wrong and really regretted it? You were aware it was a bad form. You're like, yeah, the world could have done without that choice. My spouse could have done without that choice that I made. And you felt sad about it, like sorrow. Is this landing? You know what I'm talking about? Really sad that you made these mistakes? That's purgatory. That's you doing your work here. Dive into it. Just feel it. I'm sorry, Lord, I can't fix it. You can, though. You know? We aim to go, yes. Go, Andrew. Okay, did everyone hear what he said? He said this. He said when this woman is on the live stream, she feels a real balance and also being informed. So she's being informed, but she feels peace. And she feels both are present, which is good. It tells us our team is probably doing an okay job. And Andrew's asking me how I maintain that balance of peace and still be informed. And I am informed. You know what I mean? I do understand we are at a crossroads. I guess I just don't care. I can sum it up this way. Like, I was in my kitchen one day and I was getting ready for dinner. This is recently, and COVID brought all our kids home from all different places with all of their stuff. 4 apartments were emptied into our home. I was an empty nester for about 3 weeks. We really enjoyed those 3 weeks. I even got a dog. So there you go. Point being, so I was, we managed all that chaos that came home. Happy chaos, but still busy. I thought I was through with that. But then, God's the boss, so no, you're not. Now you can barely think again. Good luck with this. I've said enough about that. So I'm making dinner and I'm thinking about all these wonderful people in my home. I'm like, my husband's here, he's so fun. And then my kids are here and they're all in their little lives and their developmental processes. And I thought, this is really good. This is good. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of opportunity for humility, self-control, managing the fact that it's not how I want. I like there not to be stuff on the couch all the time. Yeah? Let's keep that clear. Let's keep this counter clear. You just have to be quiet because people are just people. So that's that's an opportunity for holiness. Great opportunity for holiness is not getting it your way. So I was having those opportunities in abundance. And I thought, this is really good because I'm happy here. I have these people, these little tasks, the jobs. I'm working on a little something spiritual all the time. I'm working on not getting in my way. And I have a few bees. I've got some chickens. Who lives such a wonderful life as me? That's what I was thinking. And then I thought, and then there's going to be a moment where I just go back into the light and my body falls to the ground. I'm finished with that, and then I'll be in the light for eternity. And I got all those people I love there. I'm excited to see them. We've all got a list, yeah? The older you get, the bigger the list. We assemble here in our families, then we start assembling on the other side. So I thought, that's going to be fun. I'm excited for heaven. I know it's real. I certainly can promise you that it's real. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about your faith. Just trust more. And I thought, I said, I can't lose. I can't lose. I'm here. I'm happy here. And then I'll be happy there. So I think that's how I keep my balance. I don't care. I just don't care. What do I care about? You, me, our love. I want you to know you're loved infinitely. I care about that with my whole heart. And apostles of the returning King are tireless in their service because we want everyone to know they're loved infinitely. You are not just tolerated by God. He adores you. I was thinking adoration is like mutual adoration. but we're not using the word like God adores us like we're God. I have to put a disclaimer in that because someone will come back and say, Ann says that people should adore us. I didn't say that. I'm saying God loves you infinitely. And when you're in adoration, it's mutual love. You're the beloved. He's the ultimate, consummate lover. He loves you intimately. I do care about that, Andrew. I want people to know that. So that's something I care about. I care about you and I not getting caught up in politics in our churches. I was listening to a conversation of Catholics. I said, wait, is this a religious assembly? You don't have to tell me it's not a spiritual assembly. I get that. Is it some form of religious assembly? Because I don't hear the Holy Spirit. Why? There's not enough pauses. People aren't pausing to see what the Spirit is saying. They're just going at it and fighting about religion. Come on. Like, all these submissions to the synod. I'm like, did anyone say a Hail Mary before they submitted this? Because it doesn't sound spiritual. It sounds, what does it sound like? Worldly. They sound worldly. People fight about, like, Our Lady. They fight about Our Lady. I'm like, we're fighting about Mary, the Mother of God. Surely that's not her inspiring us. What do mothers want most? Don't fight. Don't fight. Don't fight about her. Our Lady was there. You know, if I start talking about Our Lady, that's like a weekend of nonstop. Our Lady was there when God came into being in her womb. She would say, at that moment, I became a disciple of my Son. Our Lady was clearly there at his birth. She was there during his ministry. She was there at his death. She was there at his resurrection. She was there at his ascension into heaven. She's the witness to end all witnesses. She's not only the Mother of God, she's the mother, disciple, and queen of our church. And if we let her, she'll be the mother of our hearts and the queen of our hearts. Where you have Eucharistic adoration, Our Lady is there. Why is she there? She mediates. I didn't say mediate, strike it, because it'll start a storm. Although that's what every mother does. Helps children to take something in, understand it, and use it. Yes? That's what good moms do. If you're in the times to come, we will see the Eucharist as presence. This will happen more and more. And the focus will be on Jesus Christ present in the tabernacle. Huge graces will come out from it. Convert people, console them, give them strength and courage. People will become brave because of the Eucharist. Our Lady will be in the middle of all of that. She'll be ensuring that you and I get there and can receive those graces in a way that's going to provide the best results for us. Any other questions? I can hear you perfectly. He's saying that his seminarian friend is asking in any of the message I received if they're referring to a natural protection for people in general. What I would respond to that is, again, it's going to be regional. What happens is going to be regional. It's going to depend on where you are. It's already happening. Tribulations have already begun, as we've seen with COVID. And And we're all doing fine, yes? Yeah, we're a little messed up, we're a little roughed up, a little confused, a little less certain. The structures seem to be deconstructing. The human structures seem to be deconstructing. And including the church, yes? So what does that make us? People who don't leave. We're not leaving. Do not leave Jesus Christ in the Eucharist. The Catholic Church, as negotiated by flawed humanity, is always going to look flawed. We work in a flawed edifice for a perfect, loving Christ. We have to show up and stay for Jesus Christ in the Eucharist. As He is here, He has shown up and He has stayed for us. That has to be mutual. It has to be a big part, front of mind. Put that in the front of your mind. How am I showing up and staying for Christ in the Eucharist today? In your contemplative prayer, He'll tell you what He needs from you. And don't assume it's going to daily Mass or Eucharistic Adoration every day. Assume it means how you're relating to the people around you and doing your duty. It's not hard. Jesus didn't make it hard for us. We're making it hard for us in a lot of ways. Arguably, a church in need of reform has made it so hard for people to feel okay about themselves that they've all left. How do we feel about that? Some of us feel angry. That's not it. They left because they're bad. They left because they weren't inspired. They left because they were traumatized. They left because they were sad. They left because someone told them they were in a state of perpetual mortal sin and they should never receive the Eucharist again, and that was it. We do understand that mortal sin isn't nearly as common as we think. There's three elements that have to be present for a state for an action, it has to be deliberate. You have to choose it. That means you're not drunk, depressed, impaired, pushed to your limits, tired. You've got to choose it with your whole will. There has to be freedom in your choice. It has to be grave matter. This idea that you're in a state of mortal sin because you missed Mass on Sunday, how do we feel about that? Someone say something. How do we feel about that? Not good. I recently spoke to a bishop and said, how do you feel about that? He said, yeah, we need to stop talking like that. I'm like, can we get that in an encyclical, please? Because people are freaked out. They think if they get hit by a bus, they're going to hell. So a little boy in college, he's away for the first time, goes to Mass every Sunday. He misses Mass one Sunday because he's sick. His mother, trying to do the right thing, says, and then the following Sunday he goes to Mass again. And his mother, because of the way she's been formed, says, wait, you didn't receive communion, did you? And he said, well, yeah, why? She said, did you go to confession first and confess that you missed Mass? And he said, no. Why? She said, oh my God, that's a mortal sin. You have to go to confession now and you got to confess that and the other thing. And he goes, I'm not doing this anymore. He said, it's too stressful and it makes me anxious. A psychologist would say he made a right decision to separate himself from something that was in his experience, a double bind. I can't win here. What if I miss Mass in a month? And then what if I go to communion again? What if I'm drunk and I receive communion accidentally? I could go to hell. Like it's too much. It's too much. Does that sound like Christ would do that? Yes or no? Does that sound like the Christ of Scripture? It doesn't to me, and I pray pretty regularly, I promise you. So what do we do with our teachings? We respect them. But please don't be confused. The church is here protecting Christ, who's the king of the church, by the way. It's his church. He is here for you, for your relationship with him. The whole reason we have a church is that so you and I can be in relationship directly to Christ. We are lost in the weeds when you have a teenager thinking he almost went to hell. And if he doesn't go to confession that day and he dies, he's going to go to hell. Oh no, your phone. We're just all glad it's not us. Please don't think we're judging. We're just all silently glad it's not us. Okay, so that's good. That lightened me up. Yeah, that's good. All right, my friends. Fathers of the Church, we're piloting right now. Please pray for that. The men in it are doing really well. We have one here today. Andrew Monpetit has joined that group, and we're excited about it. Mothers of the Church, we have a lot of Mothers of the Church groups forming. You're being called to become a spiritual leader, so you have to lead like Christ. You have to lead like you. You have to be yourself and let him come into you and direct your spiritual leadership in the future. I've said to my kids, what if there's an apocalypse? Are you all equipped to lead a rosary with no notes? And my one son's like, oh, the fourth. What are those new mysteries again? The girls are like, nobody has any idea. Just get the page. Okay. So I'm sorry I'm giving you too much. I just want you to have it. You have an interior life and an exterior life. The exterior life is what we can touch and see. The interior life is what's invisible. It's your beautiful mind connected to heaven. Your interior life where God is. Work on your interior life. We have a ton of teachings and programs that can help you. Now I think we're going to pray. So if you want me to put my hands and say a prayer for your intentions, you just stay where you're at, I guess. Right, Pam? Or are we going in? Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you to the people who organized this event.
Yeah.
I see you
their
there.
names?
Yes.
So Lynn, yeah. So thank you for coming. Thank you for assembling us. But thank you, Lynn. Lynn, quit talking. Just like when we were in grammar school here, getting in trouble. Okay, so you stand. Yeah, I was. So Lynn organized all of this, so we're so grateful that she did. Aren't you grateful she organized this? And she had some helpers, so Teresa Reddy, Andrea, how do you say your last name? Stinky, and Phil. You got our good sides, right, while filming? And the nice thing about him filming this is he's going to put it, what do? Put it on your St. Catherine's website? On Facebook. And so you can all watch it again and again, because don't you feel like you'd like to see this again? Right. She gives so much, doesn't she? And listen, she was talking about contemplative prayer. Hold up the first sheet that I gave you, one of you, please. It's got, the flyer. So on that flyer, that's about next weekend. We're going to Philadelphia Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, she's going to give a whole weekend retreat on contemplative prayer, because do you guys all know what that is? But even if you do, you'd love to learn more about how to do it. So she teaches in detail, and it's going to be really fun, and we would love for you to come to Philadelphia, but there's a second option. If you go on that website that's on that sheet, it asks you to start what's the word I'm looking for? To make an account. You have to fill this out, my name, my phone number, my address. And then once you do that, it will flip to another page, and you can scroll down, and there's an option to attend it via Zoom. So you don't even have to get dressed. You can do it in your pajamas, and for the whole weekend or parts of it that you could attend. So remember that, because that might be an option for you if you want to learn more about that. Also, if you've signed up for the emails or already getting the emails, you know that Ann gives talks every other Tuesday morning. For those of us on Central Time, it's at 7:30 in the morning. So feel free to attend again in your jammies. And then once a month on Saturday, she gives another talk. So this is why being signed up for the emails is so important, because you'll get all this. And you'll have a lot of fun with us, because it was fun, wasn't it? Did you learn a lot? Do you feel calmer? It's easier than they said, isn't it? Nothing against St. Catherine's when I went to school here, but it's easier than we thought. Okay, so if the second row, thank you. So did you see my beautiful daughter back there? Angela, will you wave? She's got freebies. I have donation buckets too, though, so don't worry. But she's got a freebie. This is Ann's book on heaven, so she's going to tell you all about her experience in heaven. And also, I think she has an envelope for you. That's from me. So thank you to everybody for coming. The second row and then the fourth row, if you guys will combine with the other rows so that we can literally walk behind this first row. Okay? Yeah, we can do this. And Mark, you'll want to close the doors. Yeah.